Hello and thanks for staying with us. Customs impound more contraband items at eastern zone of the country. Also on customs report, the CG speaks on customs activities in the country. Plus more report. I am Igesebe Itinye. Stay tuned. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has called for improved data validation and wider stakeholders meeting in the country. He made a call in Abuja.
The Nigerian Customs Service officially launched the Simplified Customs Advanced Declaration System (SCADS) at the international wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in a move aimed at improving passenger clearance, compliance, and customs operations. The platform, designed to simplify baggage declaration for inbound international passengers, is expected to reduce manual bottlenecks, improve transparency in revenue assessments, and enhance operational efficiency at Nigeria's international airports. Speaking at the official launch, the Deputy Comptroller General of Customs in charge of ICT modernization, Oluyomi Adebakin, said the deployment marks another major step in the service's digital transformation agenda under the leadership of the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi.
The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has said that the AI and digital reforms at the University of Ilorin will continue. He was speaking in a lecture being hosted by the university in Kwara State.
Once again, the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, has reaffirmed his commitment to responsible digital transformation and innovation-driven governance while delivering a keynote address at the 4th Biennial International Conference organized by the Faculty of Communication and Information Sciences, University of Ilorin, in collaboration with the Faculty of Philosophy, RUDN University.
In April 2023, there was a song that was posted on major streaming platforms, and this particular song raked millions of streams in just one day because people who listened to it believed that they were hearing a new release from a global pop star. And within the same week, the record label issued takedown notices and the song was pulled down. The vocals had been generated by an AI system. A few weeks earlier, the photographs of Pope Francis had gone viral. I'm very sure so many of us possibly saw that picture. The pontiff was portrayed as striding through Rome in a long white Balenciaga puffer jacket until we learned later that the images had been generated by a young construction worker in Chicago using a tool that they call Midjourney. So you can imagine Pope Francis being portrayed wearing a Balenciaga jacket. But then, closer to us in our classrooms, we have now experienced AI systems that can draft essays, legal briefs, and cover letters in minutes. And sometimes they are good enough to pass any grade. But sometimes confidently runs in ways only an expert can detect. So our universities are therefore scrambling to update plagiarism rules. Why softwares companies market AI detectors, they are themselves powered by AI. We have also seen the darker side of this development. 2 years ago, a finance officer in a British engineering firm called Harroop in Hong Kong was on a video call. He joined that call with what he believed was his own chief finance officer and some other colleagues. He saw their faces, he heard their voices, so he recognized them as his colleagues. And during that interaction, he made a transfer totaling $25.6 million. Every person that was on that call, except him, was an artificial intelligence deep fake. These tools no longer live in research laboratories. They live in our group chats, in our lecture halls, in our courtrooms, and in our bank accounts. And just before we think that AI is only good for mischief, sometimes we could also see AI manifesting in some noble objectives, like it did in 2024, when that year Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded partly to a team at DeepMind, whose AI system, the AlphaFold, solved a 50-year-old scientific puzzle of how proteins fold, accelerating drug discovery and vaccine design.
The global conference tagged Disruptive Technology, Human and Artificial Intelligence in the Digital Economy, held at the University of Ilorin, convened academics, tech experts, policymakers, head of sister agencies, and stakeholders to explore how digital innovation and AI are shaping governance, education, trade, and economic developments.
Those forces of artificial intelligence, they now shape how a yam farmer in Kwara accesses markets through our phone, how a small exporter in Lagos clears goods at our ports, how a parent in Ibadan pays a school fees in 3 taps, and how a student inside this hall learns, works, and competes for opportunity. The digital age did not arrive with a fanfare. It walked quietly into our lives through small daily decisions that we now take for granted. So early in this lecture, let me put my proposition very, very clearly, while you are still very, very polite to listen to me. The digital age is, in the end, a human story. The real test of our generation is not how powerful all of these machines are or what they have become. It is indeed how wisely our societies choose to use them. And this is why universities that shape how a generation thinks about knowledge, ethics, and evidence sits at the very center of this transformation, whether the youth universities realizes it or not. So this is the hard quote for us to take away from this lecture. This age, at the end of our discussion, is a human story. And the real test of our generation is not how powerful our machines become, but how wisely our society chooses to use them. Let's ground this particular reality, what has happened, the development, in some numbers that are very close to us. According to Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBBS, electronic payment transactions in our country reached 1.07 quadrillion in 2024, which is equivalent of about 702.6 billion US dollars at the closing exchange rates in 2024. But by the following quarter, the first quarter in 2025, the NIBSS instant payment alone had moved 285 trillion in 3 months, and that is a 25% increase on the same period for 2024. African Nenda has now recognized the Nigerian instant payment system as the first fully matured instant payment system on the African continent. And behind those statistics is a very quiet revolution. Within 14 years, Nigeria has moved from being a predominantly cash-based economy to one in which a mobile phone has become a bank, a marketplace, and a service window, all of them rolled in one. And this is the same pattern everywhere in the world. The statistics and the numbers may change, but the trend is the same. UNCTAD, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, reports that business to business B2B, and business to consumer, B2C, e-commerce rose from $17 trillion in 2016 to $27 trillion in 2022 across 43 countries, representing about 3/4 of the global gross domestic product. And the shipment of smartphones alone, it's 1.2 billion units in 2023. So Internet of Things devices are projected to grow further from 16 billion in 2023 to 39 billion by 2029.
Speaking during the conference, CJC Adeniyi emphasized the need for institutions to strike a balance between technological advancements and human responsibility, noting that the future of the digital economy depends not only on artificial intelligence, but also on ethics, leadership, and institutional competence.
Conditional numbers that will materialize only when institutions like ours redesign our work so that machines handle the repetitive elements and the human beings concentrate on the tasks that demand judgment, creativity, and interpersonal skill. So it will be a continuous journey of complementarity for us to derive the best advantage and benefits out of this development that we are doing. Now, let me now proceed to the examples, considering that since we are here in the university, an AI system can mark multiple choice paper in seconds. It can suggest a reading list. It can give a student instant feedback on a draft. And it can translate English textbooks into Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Fufude, or any language by tomorrow morning. If we give it in the evening, by the morning, it is done. But there is a caveat. This system cannot replace the lecturer who notices that when a quiet student in the third row or in the fourth row is lost. AI cannot do that. Well, the example I was going to say was that AI cannot detect those that are sleeping, and you have helped me wake them up by clapping. So it cannot, when a quiet student in the third row is lost, it cannot remember a local example that turns memorization into sight and who carries the moral weight of grading another human being's effort. So my summary of this is right here. The machines handles the mechanics. The teacher, the professors, the scholars, the human carries the meaning. The same logic applies to us in public administration, and I was going to give the examples of customs. An AI system can scan millions of declarations and flag those ones that look suspicious and fraudulent. It can predict which container is likely going to carry counterfeit medicine based on their origin, on their roots, on weights, or on the history of the trader. But human officers must still decide which of the leads that this machine is giving him to follow. He will decide which of them to pursue. He will have to decide how to interpret signals that seems conflicting and how to act fairly when within the law and within the very limited resources. So AI amplifies human intelligence when it is guided by a clear purpose and strong ethics. Without that guidance, it simply amplifies confusion or error at very big scale.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The acting controller of customs in charge of Ogun State Command has continued to wage war against smugglers of contraband items, including drugs, into the country. He warned would-be importers to stop smuggling items into the country.
Along the Idiroko border corridor in Ogun State, a sprawling illicit economy is coming under increasing pressure as the Nigerian Customs Service intensifies its crackdown on smuggling networks. In just 41 days, operatives of the Ogun 1 Area Command intercepted contrabands worth 6.77 billion naira, ranging from cannabis and foreign rice to petroleum products, expired foods, and counterfeit pharmaceuticals, revealing the scale and sophistication of cross-border criminal trade, threatening Nigeria's economy, public health, and security.
It was done via precise intelligence patrol. We had intelligence. And so what we needed to do was to wait for them at a point where they would be vulnerable. They were intercepted along Ogeri with other, almost 80% of what was in the truck were contrabands. Rice, shoes, expired Maggi, drugs without NAFDAC registration. So all what we needed to do was scale up our intelligence intelligence gathering to be able to track them to a point where they'll be powerless, and that's what we did. We have perfect synergy with other security agencies. The law setting up customs empower us to intercept smuggled goods anywhere in the country. Not SEMA. SEMA has been phased out. We are now using NCX Act 2023. So it empowers us to make arrest of seized smuggled items anywhere in Nigeria. But there are procedures, and all the procedures were followed.
The seizures paint a vivid picture of an entrenched illegal economy thriving along Nigeria's western border with the Republic of Benin.
We are not just catching smugglers. We are clearing the path for honest businesses. The proof is on the road compliance regarding multiple checkpoints that have disappeared. It has been replaced by a streamlined corridor for legitimate commerce. Gentlemen of the press, Ogun 1 Area Command is officially entering a new era of digital enforcement in line with the modernization vision of the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeni, MFR, PhD. We are deploying advanced geospatial technology to fortify our border. The transition marks a fundamental shift from the traditional patrolling to intelligence-led operations, allowing us to monitor smuggling hotspots across our AOR. Beyond enforcement, these advancements foster a transparent and accountable administration, one that remains responsive to legitimate trade and fully aligned with the World Customs Organization's safe framework of standard.
The Customs Area Controller in charge of Honor Area 2 ports has said that the Joint Customs Service will continue to impound any consignment brought into the country without proper approval. It seized 17 containers worth over 2 billion naira from importers at the port.
The Nigerian Customs Service Customs Area Comptroller of Honor Area 2 Command, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Comptroller Aliyu Mohammed Alkali, highlighted the achievements and milestones recorded by the command during the period under review. During the press briefing held at Honor, he informed the press that the command recorded its highest monthly revenue collection since inception, generating over 77.3 billion naira. According to Comptroller Alkali, it is worthy of note that the command generated a total revenue of 258,204,841,355 naira 66 kobo. This represents an unprecedented revenue collection in the history of the command.
Last month, in April 2026, the command recorded the highest revenue collection in a month since the inception of this command, generating over 77.3 billion naira. It is worthy of note that the command has, from January to April 2026, recorded 204,841,000 naira, which is also a milestone achievement. It is an unprecedented collection in the history of this command. This remarkable achievement reflects our unwavering commitment to revenue generation, trade facilitation, and the enforcement of extant government fiscal policies. For the officers and men of this command to continue with their due diligence, dedication to duty, that what we are doing is being appreciated and is being recognized. And we should always mind the fact that we are here for a purpose and a goal, and we should always focus on those purpose and goal, which is revenue generation and fighting smuggling. We will not allow anything untoward, anything on custom to escape our hold, because we know once it escapes from here, it's going to the general public. So I will still continue to implore officers to maintain discipline and continue doing our statutory role.
The Assistant Controller General of Customs Sergeant Zone A has called on importers to patronize the Customs Free Trade Zone in Lagos, so that the zone has continued to generate more revenue for the country.
Through strategic leadership, operational efficiency, and unwavering dedication to duty, the Lagos Free Trade Zone Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has recorded an unprecedented revenue collection of approximately 253.4 billion naira. The impressive revenue figure of 253.4 billion naira represents a remarkable increase when compared to 179.8 billion naira generated during the corresponding period.
Command has continued to record a remarkable operational achievement from January to April 2026. The command generated the sum of 253,385,539,061 naira 88 kobo only in the first quarter of 2026. Comparatively, within the corresponding period of January to April 2025, the command generated the sum of 179,869,559,647 naira. This indicates a significant revenue increase of 73,563,479,414 naira, which represents a total increase of 40.87%.
The Customs Area Controller of the Command, Comptroller Hawa Abubakar, disclosed the outstanding performance during a working visit by the Zonal Coordinator of Customs in Zone A, ACGM Babandede.
We assure you of our continuous commitment to discipline, integrity, professionalism, and improved service delivery in the discharge of our statutory responsibilities. On behalf of the officers and men of Lagos Free Trade Zone Command, I once again warmly welcome the Assistant Controller General and the entire visiting team to our command and wish you a fruitful and successful working visit.
On behalf of the CGC, let me express his gratitude to you for everything you are doing. Everything you are doing is known to the CGC entire management, and we are proud of your achievements. And he instructed me to pass this information to you, that keep on doing the good job you are doing. We are proud of you. We have not been having complaints. We have not been having challenges. We have not been having any petition. For about 8 months that I've been here as the ACG, no petition from this one. But from other commands, it's like on a monthly basis, we are receiving petitions against the command or against the officers. So please continue doing that.
The visit provided an avenue for strategic engagements and operational assessments, while also reinforcing the bond between the zonal headquarters and the command.
We continue with the interview of the FOU Zone A Controller in Lagos.
Well, the Comptroller General of Customs is extremely passionate about the fight against smuggling, and this is exemplified by the policies and programs that he has put in place to nip smuggling attempts in the bud. Some of these are the deployment of the requisite tools and techniques that seeks to, lean away from reactive enforcement to predictive enforcement. What do we mean by that? Through the deployment of requisite tools, he has brought in the geospatial technology, which seeks to improve interdiction rates, better and timely reporting, improve situational awareness, better resource management through the use of spatial geoanalytics to elicit GeoInt outcomes. Previously, we are dependent solely on HUMINT and OSINT, but these are prone to a lot of vulnerabilities. So this GeoInt, through the deployment of geospatial technology, gives us predictability, it gives us visibility, and it increases our success rates, and it gives us better resource allocation. On the recent drug seizures by this unit, it has just been a result of deliberate and concerted effort by the unit to fulfill one of our most cardinal objectives, which is the protection of the Nigerian society. We have embarked on a targeted approach, which has led to successful interdictions that have been well reported in recent times. The officers that have done this job have been so well motivated to ensure that they deliver at the very highest level. They have been provided with the requisite, morale boosting, incentives. For example, recently we are moving to Ikberu, where we have an state-of-the-art ultra-modern office space, which, is a pride of place in the annals of the history of the Nigerian Customs Service, first of its kind. And that is a definite morale booster. It gives us inclusivity. It makes us, better positioned to deliver the goods that is expected of us to do. So officers are more than dedicated to deliver on this mandate to the highest level.
Just before I run up this week edition of the program, we brought a report where the Nigerian Customs Service has continued to preach to smugglers not to bring in consignment not approved by government. For me, Egisebe Idinye, thanks for watching.